So guys, before we get into this video, please watch this to the end. It's a restoration, start to finish, in one video. I've never done a video like this before where I've got started on something and it's done by the end of the video. So please watch all the way through. Hope you find it interesting. I do want to apologise if I upset any of the purists with what I've done here. I honestly had no idea of what I had or what this thing was until I'd done all this work so I could actually read the writing on it. And yeah, we did some research and realised that it's not a piece of Chinese crap from the 70s or 80s, which I suspected it was. Turns out it's much older. Yeah, from a company that went from 1916 to 1931. We think this is a 1917 model. Anyhow, I would like to apologise if I haven't been sympathetic to this thing, but like I said, I didn't realise what I had until I'd done all this work and then did the research on it. So, let's crack on with the video. If you're wondering and you don't want to Google it yourself, somewhere at the end of the video, I will put the details, which I've pulled off the internet. I've done some screenshots for you. And there's a museum piece from the University of Illinois, I believe it was. Lots of details on this lamp. So please, when they come up, I'll put them up for about 5 seconds a piece, pause them and read through them. Or you can go on Google and look yourself. But there you go. Anyhow, let's crack on with the video. Thank you very much, and again, I apologise if I was a bit rough and hand-fisted with it. I just didn't know what I had. Oh, crap. Some bits of iron, axe, the pheasant plucker, axes, box of shite. Ooh, there had to be. Well, hello, folks. How are you? Hope you're okay. It's cold, dark outside, Sunday, 4:30. This video won't be out for you tonight because I only picked these bits up today from a local auction. And I thought, right, we'll get on straight on with one of these things, which is, I think, a little bit different. You might be able to see them here. Anyhow, let's get on and have a look. So here are the 3 items I got. You guessed it, Tilly lamps. This one is actually quite nice, but the glass is missing. Metalwork is rough. We have, so yeah, this one is quite a standard one, but it's got a good glass. Let me get hold of it. There we go. Still actually got some paraffin in it. That's quite a standard Tilly. But this one is actually nicer condition. We'll put that one, the red one, can go down there. This gold one, bone dry, no mantle, but it is a nice condition Tilly. It seems to have a nice base to it. So I think this one can be restored at some point. But today, very lightweight. This must only weigh, what, 200 or 300 grams. It ain't a lot. You know, very light. It's a very rudimentary storm lamp, hurricane lamp, whatever you want to call them. I've normally seen these with arched tubes. I've never seen them with a square tube like that. And it's got a very large glass. No cap, unfortunately. Someone's jammed a bit of tin foil in there. But I want to get the glass out of this thing. And it don't look like it's got any holes in the tank. But what I would like to do is really try and save this, because it is quite nice. I've got to try and weigh up how the glass comes out though. What is there? A sticky seed. There's like a flap. Oh, there's some cobwebs. This has been in someone's shed for donkey's years. I just know it. That flap is seized up in the bottom. How do we get this glass out, guys? It's got to come out because if I can get the glass out, I can be cleaning it. Oh no, oh man, there's rusty water coming out of it. I think this has been outside, you know. I bet you this has been a bit of wall art for someone. They've just hung it out in the garden. But yeah, I think we can get this operating again on paraffin. So I think we'll start the video outside. Yeah, just getting this glass out, getting this metalwork prepared. And then we can move it inside and get some rust prevention on it. And then tomorrow, once that's all dry, we'll give it some heat-proof black paint. But let me clear these towels up where that's all spilled. Alright, there we go. I'm going to try and figure how you get this glass out. But I really do not know. Is anyone an expert on storm lamps? Ah, it's like the whole thing pivots up. Cool. Did that come out the bottom there like that? I thought this lifted up. See, that goes out. I thought that lifted out the way. And this whole glass light comes out. Oh, I don't want to break the damn glass. Maybe it doesn't. Alright. Can't quite weigh up. Aha! Alright, this arm comes up. Is there a way for this glass to come out of here? That glass is like that's... I think that's stuck in there from years of just, well, being stuck in there. I think this glass should pull out somehow. All right. Oh dear. I thought this video was going to go a bit easier than this. We've got two pieces here, another piece here. This can't come off, that's all attached. That won't come over that flange to get the whole thing out. I've unclipped all the framework out. That doesn't come over there. So somehow that don't appear to want to come out of there either. Oh, well, that's freed off anyhow. And this don't come out because this is all attached to that top. And I don't think that top don't come over. So we've got to leave this framework all in here somehow. And try and figure out how this glass comes out. I'm really not sure. That glass must come out of the bottom here. I really do not know. Let me have a fiddle. See if I can work out how that glass come out. Right, we have that out. Now then, this was, I don't know how it came out, but all of a sudden it just come loose and lifted out. I think it had corroded. The glass had actually, or this metalwork stuff has actually rusted so much, it had corroded onto this glass and nipped it on. And once I worked around the bottom with the corrosion, the glass just come loose and lifted straight out. Took about 5 minutes. Also, this bottom tin here, the fuel tank, was full of water. That's not good, but at least we know it ain't got no leaks, because the bottom of it is bone dry, look. There we are. So we ain't got no leaks there. But, oh dear. That's gone back in its clips. That'd be nice if this come off, but it doesn't, because this is like flared. Unless that'll come over that flare, will it? That looks a pretty damned watertight fit, that's the problem. So it don't look like this is going to come off here. And it's all fixed in the top. You can't nip this up to get that over. It's got a name in here as well. Yeah, there's a name. Embossed. Let me see if I can get some light on the subject here. Can we see that? There's actually a name embossed in here somewhere. I'll try and get it on camera. Somewhere there's a name embossed. Whoops, a daisy, we're spilling more water all down the camera. Right, this thing is just... Look at the muck coming out of that. There's just rust falling out of this poor thing. I can just about make a name out. Oh yeah. There we go. We have a name on there, look. There we are, we have a name. I can't read it, but I'm sure some of you guys will work out what it is. That looked like O-I-E-T-Z. Ozzy, I don't know, Aussie, ain't got a clue. It is a shame that this will not come over that flange, but it doesn't. Now, that is a big shame. I was hoping that this frame could all come out here. Anyhow, let's see if we can get the burner out. Oh, that seems well and truly seized in. Come on. Oh, I don't like my chances. Oh, hang on. The burner is out, look. Oh, look at all the manky water on the wick. There we go, we got manky water on the wick. And I bet that don't want to come through there, do it? Alright, let's see if we can pull this wick out of here. Oh, that's coming out. Right, I think we need a new bit of wick. Yeah, the little wheel what do the wick is working. Right, I can see all the little burner flames in there now. Right, I think we've got to start, bit at a time. I know this may seem a bit aggressive, guys, but I'm afraid this has got to be done. Using a big wire brush isn't the most finesse, but this thing is rough. This thing is very rough. So I think we're just got to give everything a clean. Sure. Yeah, this poor old girl, she's rough. But I do have some rust stop. I have some rust stop and some cylinder paint. Alright. I will get the compressor going and blow this lot out. But we'll just go over this with a wire brush now. Oh my word. Look at the rubbish falling out of that, guys. Yep, from around the tank there's water falling out. I gotta try and be a bit delicate with this old girl because she's flimsy. Very flimsy. So I'm going to try and be a little bit fragile with it, a little bit delicate. And see how it goes. Sure. Let me get this on the edge of the bench. I think we're saving this. I think another winter, living wherever this thing was living, would have ended in a hole and killing it. But luckily this fuel tank is still intact. Oh, I think I'm just going to go around wire brushing this, which you guys don't really want to see. So I'll just give this a good wire brush up. And then I think we'll be back. I've got to be very gentle on these arms because this thing is, like I've said, fragile. Alright, I'm going to use some sandpaper, I think, on these arms. I think they'll be a little bit gentler than what a wire brush is going to be. Let me go over this and then we'll be back. I'll just go over this old girl and see if we can clean her up. Right guys, I've given this thing a sand down the best I can. So I think we need to give it a wipe down now with some brake cleaner. I mean, I've sanded all this by hand, some with a wire brush, some by hand. So we just got to get all the dust and grime off it. There we go. Oh, there, oh there. There we are. There we are. I'm also going to squirt a bit of brake cleaner in the tank so we can actually swill all that water out of there, which I'm sure there's a lot of. That's actually coming out of there quite clean. All right, let me get my cleanest dirty rag, give this a wipe down and just dry him off and see what we're left with. Pwah, it stinks. Oh yeah, we've got our name again in the bottom of this. Yeah, in the bottom of this thing, we've got the name again. This thing's so fragile though, it's flimsy, look, look. That thing is very flimsy. This is such a lightweight thing. I'm going to wipe all that old brake cleaner off the bench. Of course, that's a damn fire hazard. That old stuff's so flammable, you wouldn't believe it. Right, there we are. This is just about cleaned up. One of the little clips have come off. I've kept him to one side. one of the little clips out here what hold the sides in, but I have put that in a safe place. Right, what else do we do with this? Maybe, yeah, I'll give it a blowout and then I'll see where we are. Could be out here, could be in the house to actually finish this. All right, we'll have a look. Right, guys, we are back in the house. So what I want to do is, now we've cleaned all this up, brake cleaned it, blowed it off in the shed, we can be getting on with putting some of this stuff on it. Wipes out rust, repaintable within 1 hour. We will see. Right, I've cleaned the glass up. That's actually came up. Very, very nice. But glass always do. Put that on the floor so we don't risk breaking it. Right, I have got an old plastic tub here, which I'm going to use to stand this on, and we're going to put some rust cure on this. I'm quite upset that this framework don't come out, but it might help. It might help that it's that it's supported in an upright position, so I can actually go over everything. This is all clean with a little brush. I have some paper towel down here to catch any drips, because we don't want to be making a mess. And luckily this stuff doesn't smell, so it isn't going to smell the house out, which is good. I have a plastic tub. Some of this stuff will give this a good shake. Don't snigger. Alright. Victor. It has got Victor embossed. Victor embossed in this, right, that looked like Pepto-Bismol. I don't know as I'd like to drink it, but it's like a pink liquid look. Either that's settled because it's old, or that is how it is. I thought this stuff was normally white. I don't think that's picking anything else up off the bottom. No, I think that's just how it is. Okay, right. Let's get some of this on here and see if it see if it does anything. Alright, there we go. This stuff was just like water. Alright, okay. I don't know whether this stuff's meant to be like this or it's old and knackered. Haven't got a clue. Well, we'll just brush some on. I have used similar stuff to this before, and that normally sort of goes black when it's dry. I've never used this exact maker stuff before, so whether this is any good or not, I don't know. That come out of that last, I think that come out of an auction box, so it's probably quite old. But it's literally like water. I see this little thread-in cap here as brass. That's quite nice. I say this has all been cleaned off with brake cleaner and bits, so it's about as clean as that's going to get. There we go. We're not going to use a lot of this stuff I've tipped out here, I must admit. I like how this is all lead soldered. All these joints are like leaded, which is quite nice. And there's no smell from this stuff at all, which also is quite nice. Quite nice stuff to work with if it does the job. I guess we'll just see, won't we? I guess all we can do is see how this dries. Well, there we are. We're giving this a good paint up. Got to paint all these little globe brackets. Globe brackets, is that what they are called? I don't know, that's what I'm calling them. I'm calling these globe brackets. Ah, that's good. This stuff's so thin that if you just paint one side, it runs round. So that's good. Maybe that's how this stuff is, I don't know. We'll lower that burner down again, and then we can do all this stem as well. There we are. Right. Overpaintable in 1R, it says. This I would like to see. So I can't, well, I don't know, this stuff might dry in 1 hour. I mean, it's inside now, so we're at room temperature. I think this room is about 19, 20 degrees, so maybe it will dry at room temperature. Oops. Get him there. Let's just brush a little piece on our burner. Whoops. At least that wick screw is nice and free. And then all this can get some heat resistant paint when that's all dry. There we are. Look at that. Let's give it a dip. That'll certainly make sure that's coated. Oh, yes. There we are. Get that on there. And I think we'll just leave this to dry. We'll come back in a little while and see if this has actually done anything. There we are. So I'm not sure if this stuff was any good or not. Whoops. I forgot we got some undersides to do, haven't we? So this stuff, it says, you know, prevents corrosion. I hadn't done these uprights, look. There we are. And we'll get the bottom side done as well. There we are. Right. We'll leave this at this angle. There we go. We'll leave it like so. Right, this stuff's starting to go sticky on my fingers, so I think it is actually starting to sort of set, so to speak, if set is the right word. I don't know if set is a word at all, but that's what it seems to be doing. It seems to be like going tacky, so I think it is doing something. Right, I'll switch you guys off, and we'll be back whenever this is thoroughly dried. Well, man cavers, we have got this far with our lovely little lamp. The rust stuff has, well, basically, it's done its job nicely. This is not powdery at all. Nothing's loose. It's clean. And it seems to have neutralised this rust. So, all very happy. So I think I need to get that other clip back on there. I've left it up the shed, but I will get it back on. Right, I think what we've got to do now is give this thing a coat of paint. Why does my camera not look square? That looks much better. Right, we are going to use Granville cylinder paint. I know it probably should be silver. It's going damn well black. I do not care. I think it'll look really good black. There we go. We have shaken. Let me get a piece of kitchen roll here. I'm going to try and do this without gloves, simply because I don't have any gloves in the house. So, this is I only used this tin about a week ago, so that shouldn't have all settled. That should be... Have I got my brush in here? Oh, yes, we've got our little brush. There we go. Oh, that hasn't settled. All right, there's our cylinder paint. I just want to make sure they ain't gone... There ain't nothing hard in the bottom. Oh, no. We are stirring perfectly. There we go. So, I think we can be getting this little lamp painted. You wouldn't think that, literally... Yeah, you wouldn't think, literally. When was the auction today? What time will that start? At 1 o'clock. So this auction started at 1 o'clock today. And this poor lamp, with 2 tillies you saw, until then it had been sitting outside. Let me put the other light on. It had been sitting outside for goodness knows how long. And I mean goodness knows how long. You know? Yeah, so this tank was full of water, and basically the whole thing was a mess. Who would have thought that... I don't know what the time is now. I think it's about 9:30 Sunday night. And I bought this, what, 8 hours ago? Yeah, I bought this 8 hours ago, got home from the auction, what, 2 o'clock time? So I got home from the auction 2 o'clock time, and, yeah. Had a little something to eat, and within a few hours, we was in the shed doing this. I said to Rachel, do you know that little storm light? I really want to do that. You know, that's going to be nice. This little hurricane lamp, whatever you call these. Well, that's going to look really nice when that's done. Now, this cylinder paint, that's not that liquid stuff, because years ago, you used to get that cylinder paint that was like liquid. It was like a black dye, and you put it on. Well, I did like that stuff, but it didn't really act as a paint. It was more of a stain. So we've actually gone, I actually bought this tub of cylinder paint the other day, well, about a month ago, and it's actually it's a bit like hammerite, but it's very high temperature paint, so it's alright. Do you know that stuff? This little lamp is going to look lovely, you know, when that's done. That really is going to look nice. And we got the name on here as well. Have we done this side of the stem yet? No, we haven't done the stem yet. So I'm just going to keep talking to you guys while we're doing this. So yes, I hope you're enjoying these videos. I do try and keep my videos a little bit varied, so you don't get fed up and have to watch the same sort of content every time. Same sort of content, I know what I mean. It is the same sort of content, but it's different content, if you know what I mean. I'm not one of these people that do sort of 27-part videos on restoring an engine. Trust me, I tried a long video series on a few engines before, and people will watch the first one. You know, you'll for argument's sake, if you get 10,000 views on the first one, the likelihood is you're only going to get 8,000 on the second video, and by the time you get to video 3, 4 or 5, your views are just dropping off and you're stuck with your regulars. Now, I do appreciate you regulars that come. Of course I appreciate you, know I do. And I know there are some people out there who watch absolutely everything I put up. And thank you very much, you guys. But we do need to keep drawing in. We need to keep drawing in new subscribers, different viewers, you know. Because the more viewers we get, you know, the channel does a little bit better. And, yeah. And when the channel does better, I can get more stuff to do. You know. There we are. Oh, do you know, I'm really enjoying this. Being in here, painting this little light, that's lovely. It's cold all night out there. My mate Darren just come round to see me, and he's just gone. And he's treated himself to a van. He's got rid of his car, and he's treated himself to a van. And I've just been outside to have a look at his van. And it is damn cold out there. Absolutely freezing, so yeah. Oh. So I'm kind of pleased. I've got this little room set up in the house where I can do these little clean indoor jobs, you know. Obviously, I'm not going to start getting in here with air compressors and grinders. I mean, that would be stupid. You know, I know your workshop can be a little bit of obviously a work area, but at the end of the day, guys, this is our house and we have to live in this area, so even I draw the line at having a workshop in the house. There we are. That is looking lovely. This is going to be a fiddly thing of paint, but we'll be all right. So have any of you guys seen a storm lamp, hurricane lamp, whatever it is, in this shape? You know, normally all the other storm lamps I've seen, they've all been like these air tubes around the side have been like curved at the bottoms. I'm guessing this is a very, very cheap budget lamp because it is very, very flimsy. It is a very flimsy lamp. You know, very, very lightweight. Got some age to it, I'm sure. You know, it's by no means modern. I can read that make now. It's OIETZ. I can't even pronounce that. But there is more writing actually on the tank that I haven't got round to looking at yet. We'll see that when this paint is dry and we've got some gloss on it. We should be able to see that name on the bottom there a little bit better. But we'll see, won't we? So yeah, this little old lamp has certainly got a very quick turnaround on the restoration. It really has. I'm not painting that little top yet in case I need to get on there and hold it. Like I ain't painting the handle yet. We'll do half the handle. Look, there we go. Leaving me a bit along the top to grip onto. Yeah. There we are. Right. I know what I haven't done. I haven't done inside these legs. And they really do need doing to make this a job. And then we've got to go around this frame, which is going to be the most awkward damn job, I just know it. Going around this framework is going to be very awkward. Ooh, I'm painting with my left hand, look. Oops. Let's come round in here. I ain't even done this side of the leg yet. That'll be why we're not covering nothing. Here we are. So yes, if you have seen one of these lamps or you fancy looking up that make, let me know. And I want to apologise if I haven't replied to a lot of comments in the last few videos, because I know I haven't. I have got a bit lax there. But I do read every single comment. I do. Every single one. Me and Rachel will have a few hours watching the video, you know, reading the comments, and I do read every comment. I don't always get a chance to reply, though, I must admit. I do try. And there'll be times when I'm like, right, I'll have a busy couple of hours just replying to messages, replying to comments, that sort of thing. But I can't always be that quick about it, so if I don't reply to your comment, I do apologise. But I do read them, and thank you very much. That is one good thing with YouTube. You get a lot of helpful advice on YouTube. You know, I ask a question and I normally always get an answer. And that's good. You know, that is good. That is the wonder of the internet. You can't know everything. And I ignore any channel where they swear to know everything. When you get these people that say, you know, they're experts. Well, you might know a lot about some things, but you can't know a lot about everything. You know. This is a fiddly damn thing to paint with all this wire work on it. Alright, I'm going to come round here now. So far, I haven't got any paint on my hands. Look at that. New hands, Mum. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I bet I won't escape and paint this whole thing with no paint on my hands, will I? I just know I'm going to get it everywhere. Yeah, this is I say, this is such a lightweight lamp. It's unbelievable. There's no weight to this thing at all. But I kind of find it a little bit fascinating. I find this very interesting simply because of the shape of it and the fact that I've never seen a hurricane lamp with a big glass like this. Now, normally quite small. This is actually quite a large lamp. And I thought, do you know, it comes with 2 tillies. I'll see if I can do a deal and snag it at the local auction today, and I did. You want to know what I give for them, don't you? You want to know what I give for them 2 rough tilly lamps, one of them with a glass broken. What did I give for them? Them 2 lamps and this, the 3 of them. They run a lot together. Well, what would you say is a fair price for 2 tilly lamps that need restoring, one with a glass missing, and this old storm lamp? What would you say is a fair price? Drop your guesses in the comments, guys. Have a guess what I had to pay for these at a general outside auction. I need to get that other bracket in there, don't that other little clip. Saying that is making it easier to paint. I must admit, it's making it a lot easier to paint. Right, we've got an air gap in there, haven't we? We have. There we go. There we are. Oh, paint the top of that handle. Look. Yeah, we just need to paint the top of this handle, guys. There we go. So we got something nice and painted. I've ordered some wick. Turns out this is 7/16 wick. I measured the old bit and I've just ordered 4 feet of new wick. And considering we're going to use about 4 inches of it, I'm going to have plenty left over. But I have a couple of other lamps I want to show you that does need wicks as well. There we are. Oh, we ain't done our little burner, look. I'm not going to do the underside of that because I don't want it all jamming up where it goes in. I don't want it to be all sticky, so we're just going to give the burner a little bit. There you go. And I'm not going to do in where the wick goes, so I don't want to jam all that mechanism up there. There you go. There we are. The little thumb wheel, I think I'm going to touch that in silver, along with this control handle. Now, this one round this side. I think when that's all dry, and we've lit this thing up, so this stuff has also, this paint has all gone off, I think I'm going to do the controls in silver, just to give it a bit of contrast and so you know where they are. Was this lamp originally black? I don't know. Let's get him back up on our little pot, and they can basically, there we are, they can basically stay there tonight now. I think, oh, let's do that little bit on the, oh yeah, don't go on my hands, there you go. We can basically do that little bit on the top now that I'd been avoiding doing. There we go. There we go. I think we have the lamp done. Let me come round this side where you guys are. I'll come round where the light is. Making sure we ain't got any runs. And no, I haven't done the underside of the base yet. For obvious reasons, I'll do that once this paint is totally dry, which will be tomorrow. There we go. Once this is dry tomorrow, we can turn it upside down and I can do under the grill, under the base. You know, just to make sure everything is hunky-doris. There. But yeah, I'm pretty sure now we have saved this lovely little lamp. I'm not painting the inside of this stem, simply because that's got to move up and down on that. And if you go painting the inside of that stem, that'll all jam up and won't go smooth. So that can stay bare metal. There we go. There we go. How's that for a good viewing video? Watching some old boy do a little lamp in his shed and in his back room. There we are. Right, before this paint all sets, I'm going to take it off this kitchen roll. That brush can go in the bin, because it really isn't worth the white spirit to wash these out. So that can go on that bit of paper, then in the bin tomorrow, once that's all gone hard. But there we go, guys. Can we see the make on that? Let me get you, there's some words around the bottom here, and I can't make them out. I was hoping, oh, there's more words around the top. Let me get you guys. I don't know if the camera is going to pick that up or not. I really don't know. There's some writing. Let me put the camera light on. Right, there is. Oh, you can't see it, but there are words on there. Does that say action? Can we make anything out on there? There's definitely something written in that. That looks like GFOP. And I don't know what the first word is. Does that look like JJG? No. JJGFOR. RP? I really can't make it out, guys. I'm trying to get it on the camera. And if we come around this side, I still can't see it. There's something written there and there. And we got our name on the top. Is it any better without that? Right, that's what's written on the top, and then around here, yeah, it's too dark. Even with my studio lights on, it's still way too dark. Let's try this one without the. See, can you make that out? I can't. There is something written down there. And round here. And round here. But yes. Shame the grill has rotted out. Is there anything I could have done with that grill? I could have cut another piece of grill metal out. But if you lay a bit of grill metal in there, it'll raise the glass too high, and then the glass won't seal around the bottom. That's unfortunate. But it's age, it's patina, it's how it is. And really, there's no way of repairing that. There just isn't, short of remaking that whole bottom piece, which is, well, pretty much impossible, I'm guessing, because it's part of this frame. You'd have to make a whole new frame, and yeah, it's not worth it. There you go. Anyhow, that is our lamp just about painted. And isn't it looking much better? So, folks, it's the next day. You'll recognise this outfit. I've just done the bit I put right at the beginning of the video. Because after I'd done this to this beautiful lamp, I had no idea how scarce this lamp was, how old it was, how rare it is. I had no idea, guys. It wasn't until I'd done all this we could actually make the names out and the writing on it, which led to some serious Googling last night by me and Mrs. MC. And yeah, we realised just how sort of unusual and old this is. It's a Dietz Victor, we think a number 1, and it was basically made by the Dietz company in New York, which was a company that existed between 1916 and 1931. And this would basically, Mr. Dietz got the patent for the first ever flat wick kerosene lamp. So yes, this would have been a pioneer, one of the first ever flat wick kerosene lamps. We think this one is about 1917. So I do apologise for what I've done to it. I really didn't realise what I had until. Anyhow, it's done now. I can do nothing about it. I hope I've been sympathetic enough with it. This is very, very, very thin tin. It really is. It's a very thin tin and so light, which is why I thought it was a lot more modern than it was, because there's no weight to it at all. It's so light, it's basically not much thicker than a Coke can. Well, a bit thicker than that, but it's not Tilly heft. Nothing like it. It is extremely lightweight. Anyhow, it's been done now. I've done it. We've got this far. I'm actually quite happy with the way it looks. But yeah, it probably should have, after the rust converter, just been left and not painted. But it weren't until I painted it, the writing stood out enough to actually make it out and read it. So there we go. It's done. Anyhow, enough waffling. We need to get this thing back together. So I'm going to reach down here, get the globe, which is hand-blown glass, and you can see that by the impurities in the glass, that this is like hand-blown. You can feel it. It's really sort of, wouldn't say rough, you can feel rimples. Yeah. Anyhow, we've got to try and weigh up how this comes back in here. I think we tilt. That's right. You can do it upwards. I think I've got to tilt this. This should go in a lot easier than it come out. Come on. I do not want to break the glass. Oh, you lift that little, there you go. That's got the glass back in there very quickly. Well, this is a quick video. I think, we can go for a light up. I really do. So we have a wick back in. I have ordered some new wick. I'm too impatient for that to turn up. So I've dried the old wick. And we're just going to see if it'll run on that. Will this lock back in okay? Where are the little locking tabs? I did see some little locking tabs. Oh, they're this side. Right, okay, I've got to turn this burner right round. All right, there's the locking tabs. There you go. That's got the burner locked in. Whatever's going on here? Ah, there we go. Right, let's get a little bit of juice in this old girl. If I reach around here, I've got a little funnel. We'll put a little bit of paraffin in here. If I can do it without spilling it, which I think I probably can. You watch, I'll spill this everywhere. Now, we know this tank don't leak because it was full of water, if you remember. We're not going to put a lot in, just a little bit. There we go. So there's a little bit of paraffin gone in there. There we are. Right. I need to make, we can perhaps do that up the shed at another day on the lathe, a little brass stopper to go in there, because unfortunately the filler cap is missing. But I think for now it'll be fine. For our testing purposes, it'll be fine. Right, let's give that a few seconds to soak up the wick while I nip and try and get some sort of lighting device. I have nothing in here. We'll be back in a few seconds. So, folks, it has been a few minutes. I think the paraffin will have soaked up here. I bought a lighting agent in. Shall we see if the old girl got any light in it? Just see what she looks like. I think I got enough wick sticking out. Maybe I haven't. I'm not sure if it's even soaked up the paraffin yet. Oh, it has. I just didn't have the wick turned up enough. Right, let's let it down. There we go. She is lit. And doesn't it look nice? I don't know what sort of light it gives off, but it is very nice. Lovely to see it. Lovely to see it. I say, so we think this lamp is about, well, coming up to 110 years old. So yes, had no idea at all that it would be that old or that unusual, this rare. You know, I just didn't know. So I'm saying this a lot in this video. I didn't realise what I had, guys. You know, it's one of them things where in the state it was in, I couldn't see any writing or markings on it. It was so heavily rusted. And the name is pressed in the top. You know, it is stamped in there, it is embossed, but with all that rust there, you couldn't see it. Even after I'd attacked it with the wire brush, you couldn't really see it. You could see something, but you couldn't make it out. It weren't until I'd done the prevention and the painting that it all popped and come to life, so I could see everything. There we go. Apparently, from what I remember, these will run between 19 and 24 hours on one tank full of petrol. They give out 4 lumens of light, and they will withstand hurricane winds, apparently. So yes, this would have been the very first, not this actual lamp, but this model. Do you know the heat is actually down these tubes? It is as well. The heat is actually coming out the bottom of these tubes. I can feel it. How cool is that? Anyhow, this would have been one of the first patented flat wick kerosene lamps invented by Mr. Dietz, hence why it's called a Dietz Victor. We believe this is a #1 model, but we're not sure. So yes, that's all we know about it. Well, we've done quite a bit of reading up on the Dietz Lamp Company. And yes, they were a company in Chicago from 1916 to 1931. And yeah, this one has not got New York embossed in the glass. So we think this is one of the early lamps between 17 and 31. 16 and 31, beg your pardon. Because it does have another little mark in the glass. Can't remember what it is. Can't see it now. But yes, this is definitely hand-blown glass. But there you go. What a terrific little lamp. We will make a cap. There's a screw fit in there. I don't like my chances of ever finding a screw fit cap to go in there. So what I might do is turn a little solid brass one that just with a slight taper on that just goes in there as a stopper. No, it's not going to be paraffin tight, but I can't see me using this. Rachel said, what are you going to do with it? I said, well, I was going to lug it in the back of the camper van and take it on rallies and just have it lit up nights, but now I know what it is. I don't think that's going to see the camper van at all. I think it'll end up probably on this shelf. You know, yeah, it'll probably just end up on this shelf as a display item. It is far too valuable and fragile to be knocked around carrying it about. Because if I broke that globe in there, I would be heartbroken. You can tell this globe is hand-blown glass. Oh, she's getting a lovely temperature. And you can, I love how you can feel the hot air come out the bottom of these tubes. Yeah, it's getting nice and warm up the top, which is good because that's making this paint cure, what I put on yesterday. It's been on 24 hours. It's high temperature cylinder paint, so it never should come off. There we go. There's the stuff we used. So yes, here is our lovely little lantern. And yeah, what a lovely thing it is. I am so pleased. I'll be honest, when I see the three things on the auction, I didn't sort of take a lot of notice of this one. I just thought, well, that's a rare old thing. That's an unusual old thing, being square. But yeah, we will see. That's absolutely lovely. It's quite windy outside. No, don't go take it outside. Knowing me, I'll drop it. But there we go, guys. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this full series. So we went from start to finish in one video. This poor little lamp has certainly been woken up from its slumber, because I had a feeling it was someone's garden ornament for absolutely decades. I think that had been sitting outside with the rusty water that was in this tank. I think it had been sitting outside for a long time. And like I said, I think another winter on this probably would have seen the tank hold, or this thing literally getting so bad it would have fell to bits. It's got some integrity now, I dare pick it up, but it's so lightweight. And these were made of tin. That was the whole idea of them. These were tin hurricane lamps. I mean, hurricane lamps aren't heavy anyhow. You know, they don't have to be pressurized or anything like that, like a Tilly. You know, these are only sort of gravity feed, so there's no pressure to them. So I suppose they don't have to be heavy, do they? Storm lamps are pretty light. But even the glass is extremely thin and lightweight. You know, that hasn't even got a thick globe on it. It's very thin. But I'm more than happy with how this has turned out. Sorry if I was too ham-fisted and didn't have enough finesse with it. But it's done. I can do nothing about it. But generally, considering I think this is going to spend the rest of its days under my ownership, living on that shelf, I think it'll look nice as an ornament. I think that really will look a nice thing. You know, we might even put a bracket up and hang it somewhere. There you go. Maybe give it a light up now and again, just for aesthetic purposes. Handy in a power cut. You know, you can run this in your house without too much worry. Anyhow, I'm going to stop waffling and get on. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Ah! Look at it. What a lovely little lamp. And it certainly does burn a lot brighter than a candle. I must admit, that is quite a bright flame in there, so all these pipes are pipulating and doing their thing. Very nice indeed. See you later, guys. Oh,